Hi, this is Kimberly. Before I show you this video, I just wanted to tell you guys, I know I've been gone for a couple of days, but I got a little bit sick, and yeah, for a minute there I was wondering if I had the coronavirus, but it's my husband that drinks that beer with lime, not me, so I just had a fibromyalgia hangover from my mini vacation, but I was so pissed off because I slept straight through the piece of shit Grouch's first court appearance. I watched that in the middle of the night when I finally got up, and then I wanted to finish this, so I'm going to try to put some shit together for that. I ain't promising anything. Still feel a little bit under the weather. I hope you all have had a great day and enjoy this part 3 mashup of My Daddy is a Big Fat Floundering Zero. Much love and peace. Thank you for listening.
Well, here you go, assholes. How's this for you?
To begin, I just wanted to say, those of you that keep sending me Frankie Rusick's video that he did Saturday night, you may stop now. I've seen it. My channel does not appeal to everyone. I get that. So if you're one of the ones that don't like it, you may booger off, and so on and so forth, and what have you. Thank you, and have a sunshiny day. This is one of those cases that just exploded in the media. He's fed the fuck up, and I don't blame him. And I can snap my ass right back into place. And like me, I'm likable. As usual, I've strayed from the topic at hand. Some people express sympathy for Chris, and some women even wrote him love letters. Ew, gross. Cause fights and arguments in the comments. And yeah, I've been mean myself by calling Chris Pinhead Watts names and stuff. But he pissed me the hell off. He killed his family if he was overwhelmed to that fucking breaking point. But the only problem is Chris had already started dating, even before he told his wife he wanted to end the marriage. He had an opportunity. My wish is that someone someday can poke around in Chris Asshat Watts' mind. Did he have a secret life like before NK? Very curious about that. I'm starting to think he might have. But I know it's just the crazies that start up the unsympathetic and hostile, menacing intentions. Was speculating after Fartface blamed Shanann, and oh, how I wanted to see a trial. Fuckface was charged with Knucklehead's defense team. Doofus cares deeply about what other people think of him, and he did not want all of the dirty laundry being aired. Well, that shit happened anyway, and her picture looked nothing like the others we've seen. She must have been given a glam team. Now, I would like to use a disclaimer. The opinions expressed here are my own and are alleged and for entertainment purposes only, and had no clue he was still very married. She said it was a brief affair and that she had been totally duped by him. Don't tell me she didn't look up Shanann. Just saying. They all agreed that he showed no signs of being a sawed-off, namby-pamby weakling, mummy's boy sissy snowflake, dickweed pansy jellyfish crack whore wimp, dick-face crybaby chinless wonder, ass-hat panty-waist booger-eating, butt-head dim-witted fucktard, yellow-bellied blockhead coward, weakling dick, namby-pamby mouse, fraidy cat sissy, big baby candy-ass filthy piece of chicken shit. So yeah, it came as a shock to them. Fartface's mother, Cindy, got on television and started running her mouth and talking shit on Shanann. She insulted her and just couldn't stop talking, so then it became a controversy. A big one. It was both a shit show and a clusterfuck. Remember, children, a shit show is when an event or situation takes an unexpected turn and is marked by chaos or controversy. Everything turns out extremely horrible. It's often associated with extreme stupidity and or ineptitude. One does not usually realize that the shit show is occurring until the following day. Among other things, Cindy is also afflicted with diarrhea of the mouth. Quote, Cindy said Chris wasn't excited about the third baby, and he was, quote, finally seeing the light when it came to Shanann. When Cindy first heard they were missing, she believed Shanann took the children and ran off to punish Chris, because that's the kind of person Cindy believed Shanann was, end quote. Now, Diarrhea of the mouth, for those that don't know, is a person who usually isn't very intelligent, who is talking shit and will not shut the fuck up. It's typically a cover for their own inferiority. When this was all over, Cindy had a new affliction. She was clusterfucked, which is to be in a state of utter, insane, completely and totally screwed, to a point in which one feels that there is no way out of a current situation or a predicament. Fubar takes over, Fubar, which is fucked up beyond all repair. Ronnie joined in. Quote, Ronnie stated somewhat cryptically in the media interview in what appeared to be a jab at Shanann, quote, you have to get to know her and be around her. We'll put it that way, end quote. Diarrhea of the mouth can be extremely contagious and likely to spread to and affect others, especially when you live with someone that has the chronic condition. The normally quiet and contained Papa Ronnie started spewing shit from his own mouth. Wearing an orange jumpsuit, he appeared disheveled. His buzz cut and facial hair had grown out a bit and looked greasy and unwashed. For the grandparents of the victims, they were granted permission to speak. She instead decided to address Chris. Cindy managed to keep her DOM in check that day, and as a reminder, DOM is diarrhea of the mouth, also known as talking shit, with fart face ending up at the Waupun Correctional Institution. I just wanted to brag that Miss Lena used 2 footnotes in this chapter, and the Cindy Watts shit show clusterfuck interview is the dominant one in the marriage. So dominant was used twice in her description by Miss Lena. Not me. She's controlling, forceful, raging, attention-seeking, stubborn as a mule, but in a nice way. Are these really the most glowing and flattering words you can come up with? Or am I taking it the wrong way? The Watts family, who may very well have their own version of these stories, been several misunderstandings, miscommunications, and different perceptions of what happened, the animosity and the breakdown of trust, the 10-page letter to D.A. Rourke that Sandy Rusick typed up and sent to him. Is it because it's not talked about in the discovery? It would have required some effort to find out. Yeah, I know I'm being a smartass, but I can't help it. Invariably seem to suggest or hint in the same tired direction. Shanann was popular and well-liked in high school. Of course she was. I want more than that. You know what? I'm gonna write a fucking book. I'm gonna do it today. It'll be published an hour from now on Amazon. I'll be right back. What parts of the discovery do y'all want me to fucking copy? Beautifully said. Apparently she got married right out of high school. What the F kind of marriage is that? This is exactly why marriage is the #1 cause of divorce. She just wasn't interested in working things out. Once the marriage was over, Shanann and Leonard never spoke again, end quote. So, to explain further, Shanann was done. She gave 0 fucks about anything or any future events, and particularly about him. Dumb fucking Shanann began dating in 2010. Chris and Shit's cousin's ex-wife suggested the two become friends on Facebook. Shanann wasn't particularly impressed after their first date. Pinhead showed up in shorts for an upscale theater with dining. He followed her around like a damn puppy trying to prove his loyalty, putting her medications in a pill box and eagerly going to her colonoscopy, wagging his tail the whole way. You know, if someone I barely knew invited me to their colonoscopy, I would tell them to stick it in their ear and blow it out their ass. Shanann rolled down the car window a bit so he could sniff the fresh air. She had been blowing off in the car all the way there and all the way back. They started calling each other pet names like Fart Face and Dragon Breath. She patiently started putting newspapers on the floor when Dickweed would come over, as sometimes he would have dribbles and accidents from his excitement of seeing Shanann. She fed him quality food, such as spaghetti with her famous sauce and fried pizza, which incidentally gave him the runs. She got him his shots and taught him obedience and how to be sociable. She made sure he got exercise and even allowed him to run freely sometimes in the evening. She used patience and positive reinforcement, and he had learned several commands. But suddenly, after years of loyalty and kindness, in the summer of 2018, he had stopped not only coming when she called him, but obeying her commands too. Shanann worked very hard with CW, trying to get him just right. One night earlier in their relationship, she had to put him out and told him he was in the doghouse. He whimpered and whined all goddamn night, but he learned his lesson and never disobeyed her ever again. Until he started raising hell and doing some serious badass commotion type activities with Nikki when Shanann went out of town. She didn't know exactly what kind of underhanded and rowdy shit and behavior was going on, but he was gonna get a rolled up newspaper across the snout just as soon as he got off the airplane in North Carolina. This royally pissed off CW's mother Cindy, as she insisted she was the one that had taught him to be obedient to her, and he wouldn't even come now when she called for him. She had already trained him, and there was nothing wrong with how he acted and dressed, and the way she brushed his hair and such. And now Shanann had retrained him, and he wouldn't listen to her, even when she barked her orders. And he started hollering and cussed out his mother right before the wedding. And she was like, "Well, I never," with great indignation. "Yes, you did," retorted Shanann. Cindy and Shanann bickered frequently, butted heads, and blamed one another for CW's sudden acting out in bad behavior. He was showing signs of aggression and defiance. Both accused the other of not socializing or supervising him properly. Quote, Chris said he didn't remember if Shanann had, quote, coached him to confront his family, end quote. That means she probably did. It sounds like it's a common element of all three of these marriages, meaning Chris and Shanann, Cindy and Papa Ronnie, Sandy and Frank, where the men have probably tried to say to their wives, "You're not the boss of me," just to test the waters, and their wife just laughs and pats him on the head. So Lord help us all when these women would come together for a family function. One day Shanann dressed up CW in a purple vest and a tie. CW always wanted to please Shanann, so he was easy to train. Quote, Chris's immediate family did not attend the wedding, seemingly as a result of this blowout dogfight. I guess he thought that gave him the green light to pursue a buckwild relationship with Nick. CW insists he had a great childhood, nothing out of the ordinary, and everything was just happy, happy, happy. Chris is quiet and hides his feelings just as Papa Ronnie has always done. Cindy is described as more emotional and the dominant force in the marriage. You think? I can see that. CW denies that his mother was in a constant state of bitchiness, or a miserable person who sucks all the joy and happiness out of life and makes life a little less worth living by her constantly shitty attitude, lost in her shadow. I just think of Marsha when I hear that. All of his life had females badgering him to express his feelings. You know, mom, sister, wife, and then Nikki. Miss Lena may have gotten this from Copycat Clusterfuck Cadle, from Copycat Clusterfuck Cadle's book, which incidentally is listed in Miss Lena's bibliography. Oh, what a mistake that was. Miss Lena gets CW's high school wrong. She says he went to Pinecrest. Bitch, no. Shanann went to Pinecrest. This is why he went buck wild when he met NK, because you can't skip a stage. I've already gone over this. When CW moved out, Papa Ronnie became so depressed that he just dived right in and, quote, became addicted to a white powdery substance that made Papa Ronnie feel like a total badass, king of the world, pop star. It's also known as coke, blow, snow, white, powder, lines, rails, bumps, top of the world to the bottom of the barrel. CW and Papa Ronnie grunted to one another about his addiction to drugs. Speaking out loud, especially about sensitive subjects, is frowned upon among the Watts men. So, last chapter, at the very end, Bitch said, Miss Lena said, well, she's already covering a shit ton of what was said in that interview. She said, before we explore that. So it's all like fucked up and neither here nor there. It's going back and forth. I'm so fucking confused. That part's mine, that I'm fucking confused. For fuck's sake, land sakes alive, from Cindy Clusterfuck shit show that we talked about last chapter, the TV interview. If you'll recall, when she wasn't insulting Shanann or complaining, her drama and gossip filled the void alternately, and she praised her son to high heaven with a constipated look on her resting bitch face. Please note this is in stark contrast to Doofus's blank face, and Papa Ronnie has perfected the apathetic face. They got those facial expressions down, man. Am I making sense? Sometimes I start rambling and then I get lost and I have no fucking idea what my original point was. Not that these things are crucial to the story, but that's how boring and tedious this chapter has been. I'm looking up frivolous, pointless, insignificant shit. CW's also been alluded to as a bitch-ass, doofus, liar pants, dumbfuckery, pussyfoot, self-absorbed, deceitful, self-centered asshole, bastard, fool, nincompoop, jerk, detestable, ignoramus, idiot, imbecile, moron, klutz, half-wit, thicko, thick-head, dickhead, nitwit, doe, nerd, pig, dummy, donkey, stupid, scum of the earth, giant asshole, meathead, wetnet, numpty, twerp, sight, stupisan, go, gasbag, bile, silly billy, schmuck, lard-ass scum, fuck off and go to hell, bag, felonious, are you fucking kidding me? Pray, pansy, barbarian from hell. Fuck out of here. Miss Lena kinda gushes about CW's looks. Also that Kristen shit always comes across as the typical, quote, nice guy that is easy to be around. Well, that may be, Miss Lena. However, Kristen shit was refusing to stop being a stupid dumbass. I wish he could have used his time alone that summer to go to a nearby church, throw himself on the front step, wait for somebody to come pick his sorry ass up and take him inside and slap him. Perhaps he would have been moved to seek some help, but I know he brought up going to church and became immersed in the Bible after he was incarcerated. So it's not a stretch that it could have been a possibility and an option for him before he flipped his fucking lid and annihilated his entire family. There's nothing new here. I'm annoyed. I was hoping Miss Lena would have interviewed some people, but this is all from Discovery, which she apparently is being careless with because she got the Coder Tammy thing mixed up, and now Pinhead's high school was incorrect. Except for the way she gushes about everybody's looks that she seemed to write on her own. She praises the looks of CW, Shanann, Frankie, Frank Sr., and Jamie. Just falls silent on Sandy, Cindy, and Papa Ronnie. How rude. And I checked the bibliography, and I'm shattered to see that she used Copycat Cato's Clusterfuck book for part of her own book as a reference, which I had suspected. She bounces back and forth in the chapter between Kristen shit and Shanann, and I don't like that. Stop doing that. So, if I'm darting all over the place, it's because I gave the fuck up trying to put this shit into some semblance of order. I'm not kidding, goddammit. No, really, I can't deal when stuff gets all mixed up and then I can't sort it out. So please, pardon my muddled mess. I just want to throw all the fucking shit up in the air and let it land wherever it did. And, well, that's how my notes were for this synopsis, so forgive me. I thought she was going to delve into their childhoods and shit. I got flippin' excited for nothing, really. Why are these authors being so obstinate? Why am I being disagreeable? Well, this repetitive horse shit's been reviewed 1,000 times. I'm tired of the same old shit and it's redundant as hell. The more it goes through the wash, the more faded and lukewarm it gets. Everybody acts like they got some new and exciting shit and they don't. I'm waiting for an investigative journalist to come along and wow me. Yeah, I'm sure someone is like, yeah, I want to amaze and astonish Kimberley. Is it just me, or are these authors showing very little enthusiasm? Maybe I'm just being a battle axe. I've been called that before. It's okay, I know. My husband is an old goat. And if some of this shit didn't make sense, just overlook it, please. Now, this is technically true. It is true. First thing I want to say about this chapter is Miss Lena does not provide dates. It's just a vague story. And we all know how I feel about vague, but we all know how I feel about this. Of course, vague, my definition is when the author is sort of non-specific about whatever and whenever it is that they might or might not be talking about or communicating in an unfocused or imprecise way or what have you, unless it's not, which means at some point it may or may not be. You get my fucking drift? Confusing, right? I had to spend countless hours because I get distracted, but countless hours researching shit and confusing myself. Now, I'm not senile or anything. Not yet, anyway. I tried, damn it. So, this critique slash synopsis is a mixture of my shit and her shit. And this is my shit now. They, meaning Shanann Halfwit, from when I was doing the letters from Christopher, copycat, contentious, Cadle, chronic, Cadlegate, clusterfuck controversy. The end result will be that some of this crap is out of order because I just gave the fuck up because that's what I do now when I'm overwhelmed. Because I can. I've given myself permission to do pretty much as I please, and I do. You can do that shit when you get older and you aren't raising kids and running on the non-stop gerbil wheel. But you wanted me to get this video published at some point, didn't you? So don't expect perfection from me. You will be severely disappointed. So, to get away from family drama, they built a house they could ill afford. That was my own little addition, but they really could not afford the massive 5-bedroom, 4.5 bath on that nice quiet street with beautiful views. Well, those beautiful views lasted until they started building more houses all around them within arm's reach. While Pinhead worked for Ford, he developed the onset of carpal tunnel in both of his hands. He said Shanann wanted everyone to think they lived a certain way and they could not afford it. He being Chris and shit. I want to say wrong because I just love doing that. It's fun to point out others' mistakes. But I guess technically Miss Lena is correct. But that's not as fun for me. I'm bored and I have a headache. And I want to blow something out of the water like the whole Cadle copycat cluster. But it's one of those things that first time parents do. And for example, there's picture after picture after picture of the ultrasound. And every single gift that she got, it honestly gave me a bore headache. And Lob had comments and says stupid crap on the blog like, OMG, I was so happy when your mother told me she was pregnant. I felt extremely lucky. I can't wait to meet you in December, end quote. And he's of course speaking to Bella on the blog. And when the first ultrasound was posted on the blog, Chris commented, quote, was a very exciting moment for your mother and I. To be able to see you for the first time was an amazing feeling, end quote. And I know it was, so please don't give me hate. I have 3 kids of my own, I remember. But now I find that kind of stuff boring. And then there's that creepy as fuck picture of him looking at her stomach all bug-eyed and stuff. What is that? It makes me kind of feel like I want to throw up and kick my legs and stuff. Apparently Chris and Shanann had been discussing divorce, also a new baby, and they were behind on the mortgage. This is clusterfuckery at its finest. Clusterfuckery is the resulting hot-ass mess due to ineptitude and inability to plan one's affairs efficiently. As a consequence, you wind up with a disgraceful, bungling mess of shit. This, of course, can be shortened to cluster when you're in a place where polite conversation is required, like in church. He said Frank had warned him it was best to let Sandy sleep in the mornings, so he felt as if he were walking on eggshells to keep the kids upstairs. Maybe they shouldn't have gone to bed so early, just saying. Sometimes Shanann and Sandy would have words over what was best for the children. CW mentioned in his Wisconsin interview sometimes Sandy would give peculiar advice, such as, quote, just put some peroxide on the bottoms of their feet, quote. She does have some badass pictures on her Facebook from all of these lifestyle getaways. It seems as if she had a flipping blast. However, all that loudness and fanfare does not appeal to me. I don't even want people to talk to me most of the time. I like my quiet. So I don't think Thrive would be for me or being a Thrive promoter. This is only partly true, that life was good for the Watts, that the Watts family had financial problems. Meekum said the Watts were living above their means and that Shanann Watts was concerned about the expense of buying food, that their credit cards were maxed out. Miss Lena doesn't give enough dates to keep shit straight, so I will, and I'll provide them where needed to make the story move along fluidly and shit. It must have been exhausting to keep up this perfect lifestyle in the married couple Ken and Barbie masquerade. But I think that with the color coding of the matching their outfits and shit is just a bit much. That's just me. She also painted the home in bright colors, colors that just so happen to match the Thrive colors. I wonder if this is by design. Shanann posted often or rather all the fucking time on Facebook, but please be warned and don't start hollering at me and trying to tell me off. That Shanann is an avid Facebook poster to the point that some people felt that it was overkill. Shanann just heaped the praise on Chris and shit to high heaven on social media. I'm surprised she didn't throw bouquets of flowers at his nasty, smelly feet. No wonder Nikki went after him. Don't tell me she didn't see this shit on Facebook and Shanann would post these living testimonies to what a great catch he was. He's such an asshole, lame brain, worthless waste of space, piece of shit, lowlife, wild rabies-laden animal, cockwomble, fuckwad bungling douchebag, fuckface bumbling, incompetent crackhead buffoon, inferior bitch, inconsiderate bastard, arrogant, uncaring, selfish, borderline sadistic, apathetic, mean, spiteful, dishonorable piece of chicken shit. The brazenly forward email. He told Nikki he was a straightforward guy who didn't like lying, end quote. Oh my god, what a lying piece of shit. Neither one of them would know truthfulness and honesty if it bit 'em on the ass. I think they're both dead from the neck up. The chapter ends with the flirty emails between Chris and Shit, and he of course is that douche at work who has the fucked up head and the lonely female he found at work who just so happened to not have any self-respect, who willingly subjected herself to the marginal attention of this very married lion-ass man with a pregnant wife, and they talked about karma. And we all know that karma is what? That's right, it's a bitch. So if you do something shitty or fucked up, what should you expect in return? Something unfortunate, or some discomfort or unhappiness. But in this case, Nikki, it was some ruined, fucked up, shitty shit that you should have known better. You fucked up big time.